When you lose a husband, you're called a widow. When you lose a wife, you're called a widower. When you lose a father or a mother, you're called a fatherless or motherless child. When you lose both parents, you're called an orphan. But when you lose a child, what are you called? Well, there's no name for that. I guess it wasn't meant to be. But then it does happen, and through no fault of ours. Today, I have mothers who will be talking to us on how they smiled again, how they grieved. Some grieved longer than others. What people said to them when they came on a condolence visit that made them feel like punching someone on the nose, and how they think one should grieve. We'll see you after this time out, and my name is Yudi, and this is the Yudi Factor. You're welcome back. On this program is Mary Nkangineme. She's a HR consultant and certified counselor. Mary lost 2 children on the Sosoliso plane crash. Mary, you're welcome. Thank you very much for always coming to share your story with us. And then I have Mary Suara, a businesswoman. Mary's son was a pilot in the Air Force, and his plane, he flew the Donia that crashed in Kaduna. Mary, you're welcome.
Thank you
very much for coming. And then I have Mrs. Jane Tokumaik. She's a businesswoman. Jane's son was one of the 4 Alu boys that were brutally murdered. I thank you very much for coming. As much as possible, we'll try not to relieve the pain, but just to recap, let's just hear what happened.
Just like any other day, my son had been in the Yola Jesuit College for 3 years. My daughter, that was her first term, and her first time of leaving home to go to a boarding school. So it was just exciting. So I go to the airport like any normal day, and we are there. And you know, this is a special season because it was Christmas season. Yeah. So lots of parents are there. I wasn't the only one. 61 children were on board, so you can imagine all the parents there. You know, there's someone from a family there to pick them. And we are just chatting and waiting for the children, and you're waiting outside the arrival. Then suddenly we are hearing people just running up and down that helicopter crash. That was the first thing. And being Port Harcourt, there are lots of helicopters that fly taking the oil people, installations and all. Then the next thing I'm hearing, plane crashed. Fine, it's Port Harcourt International Airport we are talking about. So many flights, yes. You know. Then the next thing, Sosoliso crashed. And Sosoliso, you would never think that it will be the one that has your children, you know. Let me go and find out what is really happening. And as I'm going now, I'm seeing parents really crying and saying, the plane carrying our children has crashed. And I'm saying, no, it can't crash. Did you see your children? Did you see? He said, no, that's what they heard, and it's Sosoliso. Sosoliso, I still wouldn't believe it that. I said, did you see our children? He said, no. But they say it's the, I said, so I'm like, I need to get to the tarmac to see this plane that crashed. So I'm also like going. You need to, of course, you can't access the tarmac from the terminal building. Yeah. So I'm like walking along the side fence and looking for a gate, and people were using a particular gate. But when I get to this gate, it's closed on me, right in front of me. And I see a man by that gate, and I say, where are you going to? I said, I want to go to the tarmac because I hear a plane crash. My children were on that flight. Open this gate. He opens the gate for me. This same person opens the gate for me. And I'm walking, and I'm going. And then this same man again, I don't know whether I went ahead or I don't even know till tomorrow. I can't describe. He comes back and says, did you say you had children on that flight? I say, yes. I said, my first son and my only daughter were on that flight. He just says, Madam, don't go there. I said, I have to go because I have to see the plane because I can't take your word, plane crashed. And then I'll just say, okay, it has crashed. Then well, I need to go and confirm that a plane crashed. So I need to see that crash site. So it just gives me the first word and says, when did you see your children last? I said, exactly 21 days ago, I went visiting and I saw my children. He just tells me, remember your children the way you saw them last. At that point, it makes no sense to Mary, and I'm like, can I go now? Fine, I start going. Then I see two fathers I knew. One is a family friend, another one, and they are crying and telling me, Mary, our children are dead.
Hold the thoughts. Hold the thoughts. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are talking about how these mothers smiled again. Mary Nkangineme, who lost 2 children on Sosoliso plane crash, is just telling us how she got to hear or how she got to see it happen. You're welcome back. Yes, Mary, go ahead.
Yes, so, and I'm like, did you see the children? He said, no, but the plane, look, the plane is all, Mary is burning, the children are all dead. I said, no, I need to see, to know that it's real. And I asked the man who was a family friend, Eugene, I said, Eugene, did you see Mama's body? Because that's what we used to call the daughter. Did you see Mama's body? He said, no, but they are all dead. I said, well, I can't believe you. I have to see for myself, you know. And as I'm talking to them, now the crash site is not too far from me. And as I look beyond them, I see the debris of Sosoliso, because I had the red and the blue, I could see the tail. Yes. And right above that crash, what I'm going to tell you is something that is going to be in my memory, that I live 100 years. Over the crash, the debris, I see this great throne. And I can't tell you that I can describe who was on the throne, but it's just a great throne. And I see children. I can't tell you that I saw my children, Junior and Obioma, no, but I knew that there were children around this throne. And the joy on their faces was just undescribable. Right there and then, this was now grass. I just knelt down
and worship
and began to worship God.
I heard so.
I just began to worship God. And the desire to go to the crash site faded instantly. And they're like, is she all right?
They thought you lost it.
Yeah, people thought I lost it. And right there and then, the desire to go to the crash site to see whatever I wanted to see died instantly. And I just turned around now. And walked back.
Okay, so Jane. Yes, Jane's son was one of the Alu 4 boys' mother that happened. So tell us, how did you get to hear this information?
My husband's birthday was on the 4th.
Yes.
You know, we're supposed to do something together, but we're not able to do it. So we shifted it to the Friday. So in the morning, I was getting set to, like, you know, let me arrange my husband for his birthday that I was not able to do the previous day. Yes. You know, because the previous day, my son had called to wish his daddy happy birthday. You know, he was supposed to come that day, but he couldn't make it. That he was going to come back the Friday after his lectures, you know. So about 7:30, I was getting myself ready for my husband. Then this call just came in. Say hello. He said, Sister Jane, where's your son? I said, he's in school. He said, please, I don't know, somebody just called me because, you know, a lady called her. That lady that used to dress very well in church, that comes with those 3 boys, her son, I saw him with his friends, 4 of them, that they are going to kill them. I said, I don't think he's my son, because I will not in my wildest dream, because he had not done anything for me to begin to say, this boy has done wrong again now. Nothing. I'm so sorry. So she now gave me the number of the girl that called. Immediately I jumped out. I called my husband. I said, Dad, as I call him. I said, look at the message I'm getting. I don't understand what's going on. He too jumped up. We started dressing up. I tried calling the girl that sent the message to this other lady. She eventually picked. I said, yes, mommy, your son, with his friends, they are going to kill them. I said, what did they say? She said she doesn't know, that she just saw them naked, that they were taking them somewhere. So we just ran out of the house, entered the car. We stay at Kapnamangala while the school is very far away from where we were, Uniport. We drove down there, just to cut a long story short. We located the place. When we got there, people were just gathered like a wrestling ground, you know. They just covered the whole scene, you know. So I rushed in. My husband too went in. We saw the boys, one tied. Yeah, his back hand roasted. He was dead already. Then I just looked. I noticed my boy. But my husband was not sure because he was all muggled. He has been beaten. His face has shifted. His brain was pouring out. You know the way, you know. So I just removed my face. One of the other boys, my sister's son, she's my sister from my maternal home. So I went there, he was like breathing. So I called, I just went to him straight, now left my bed. My husband was like, I don't think that's my son. Somebody now brought a phone and now showed him when they were being tortured. He now saw the clip, a clip of, so immediately I just saw him where I was shouting, Tekena, because that's Tekena, it's one of the boys now. You know, because he was breathing, and I called, Tekena, Tekena. But just from the smoke, because he was born, they were all born to life. He was breathing. Then I just saw my husband put his hand on his head and started crying. First to see it like a baby. Saw my husband that doesn't talk, started weeping. I couldn't cry. So I saw Tekena that he was still alive, so I just went to the crowd and I just raised my hands and said, Father, I thank you. Your word says in every situation, I wasn't crying. I don't know, somehow something just held me. It was like, you know, at that time, everyone that was gathered there were like, these kids, they came from homes, you know. It was like a surprise to them that a mother will come and see her son dead, and she's just thanking God. If you throw a pin on the floor, then you will hear the sound. The place was so quiet. You know, that was this sober reflection on everybody. So I just thanked God and said, take control, and you know, then I started screaming, ambulance, ambulance, because the other boy was still alive, hoping that we'd take him to the hospital and rescue him or something. So the ambulance immediately came. My husband, with some guys there, took our first son from the dustbin because he had dumped them in the dustbin. They dumped them there. Children we sent to school to study. You know, he picked his son from the dustbin, put him in the van. He carried the other 3 boys because we were the first parents that got there. In short, we were the only parents that got there first. You know, God came into the ambulance and we rushed down to Teaching Hospital. The doctors came, now examined, and at the end of the day, she was gone.
Hold the thought, hold the thought. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is How They Smiled Again. I have 3 mothers who lost their children under very tragic circumstances, telling us the story and how they smiled again. You're welcome back. Now, Mary, your son was a pilot in the Air Force. I watched him grow up because we lived together in the base. Tell us, how did you get to hear or see? Where were you?
Really, that day, on a Friday before that day, I went for a friend's husband burial. So from there, I have to stop over in my son's house, my second son's house. So
You have lost 2 sons. You've lost 2 sons, yes.
I passed the night there. So waking up in the morning, I left my phone in the bedroom, went to the sitting room. So when I went back to the bedroom, I now saw there was a lot of calls. People have been calling me. I was wondering. So I said, why is this call so much like this? So I called one of my friends. I said, I saw your call. So she now told me, said, you know what? I just said I should call you and say hello to you. I think they were all trying to find out maybe I've had.
Yeah.
After 30 minutes, one of my friend's daughter now called. And the next thing she now told me on the phone was that one Kunle Swara has crashed into ND. He's the pilot of the plane. The next thing I just saw is that I just find myself on the ground. So I was rushed to the hospital. But I thought I was dead. The next thing I started hearing on my ear is that we can't find Havin. We can't find Havin. The whole thing is collapsed. So fortunately, I don't know how they got me back. I just don't know. So I just don't really want to talk about it.
Now, I'm sorry I have to make you relive all this. How did you smile again? Does time numb the pain? When you think of your children, what do you think of? How did you grieve? I know you, because of your belief, you went out comforting other parents who lost their children in that Sisoliso, and you've written a small book, How Not to Grieve with the Grieving. I wish you had brought that book here. So how did you smile again? How did you?
You know, people say time heals.
Yes.
Time does not heal.
It doesn't.
Time is not a healer. I mean, if time was a healer, why will Auntie Mary here cry again? Time does not heal. That is, I don't know, maybe
how many years?
mine is 12 years.
12 years.
13, going on to 13 now.
Ours was last year.
No, 2 years. It will be 2 years on the 29th
You lost
of
your
August.
son, how many
That's
years?
about 12 years ago.
12 years ago. So time doesn't heal.
No. Time is not time. Is not
Does
a
time
healer.
fade? Does the memory fade?
It can't fade. I don't know about others, but for me, it can't
can't.
fade. Like, even if God gives me the next 50 years I live on earth to be 100 years, I will never forget Junior and Obioma. I will not forget their memories. I will not forget the things we talked about, the things we did. So, as long as I'm here on earth, on this side, I will always remember them. But my personal belief is, how do I remember them? That's where the healing comes. How do I remember them? Do I remember them with pain? Do I remember them in joy? Do I remember them laughing? Do I remember them? But I will always remember them. I will always think about them. Time is not a healer.
People come to pay condolence. And some people say, I'm sorry for your loss. Some say, God gave, God took away. Were there things people said to you while grieving that you felt like punching them on the nose?
Like when people started coming to visit, some persons came, some good friends came, some like, sorry, take heart, it is well. But I think you didn't pray enough as a mother. You didn't, you were not putting, were you praying enough? No, I tell yeah. They make you begin to look
As if you're not close to God enough.
Or you were not able to take care of your child, or you were not there for your child.
Or you were not praying for your child or something.
So somebody comes, then some other person will say, this is a bad thing, but he had so many friends. And like one, I couldn't hold it, I now asked her, when he's just 19 for crying out, and in year 2, civil engineering, he's supposed to have friends. So are you telling me that because he had friends, that is why he deserved to die the way he died? Is that what you're... She said, no, Auntie Jane, that's not what I said. Please.
When people come to pay condolence, are there things you think people should say? Or people should just sit down quietly?
Let me tell you some, today I am strong. Yeah, because somehow God gave me strength that day. But, I never knew her.
Yes.
There was a day I was like crying my heart out. Everybody had gone. All the visitors, all the friends. I was alone in the house. My husband had gone to work. I was alone. Then I just had this knock on the door, and I just cleaned my eyes, and because people had seen me like this strong lady, but when they never knew what I go through.
Yes.
So when I now opened the door, I saw a tall lady standing. She now said, "You don't know me. I am Mrs. Mary." She said, "I lost my 2 kids in Sosoliso." Maybe like this bumps, like, I was like, my God, here is a woman strong enough to come to my house to console me. And then she came here, I now told her to come in. I dried my eyes and she now gave me the book. No, before she gave, I think she now told me the story of how she went to the airport and how she was told not to see her kids, the way that she remember the way she left them.
Yes.
That stayed with me. From that day on, I decided not to remember how he was beaten and battered and burnt alive. I just remember the times we sing together, the times he will go out and kiss me on the cheek, the times he will slap his younger ones, beat them, pinch them somehow, laugh with them and throw them on the bed,
He made you laugh again.
Yes. And, I decided to remember because he made music, and because he won this rap top, the first edition. So sometimes when we remember him, we just put on that tape. We watch him rap. Yes, to remember him. Not the way he died.
And you try not to remember
the pain, yes. Who did that? She did. Whenever the issue comes up, I'll read her story. And somehow it gives me, it now, strengthens me. She was one of my, I never knew her. When so happened, then you never know that something like will happen, say, hey, lady lost 3 kids. One lost 2. Oh God, like that.
When
it now happened, and now I came face to face with somebody that was, I said, my God,
Mary, have you been able to smile again?
Really,
I know you're going to turn 60 in November. And your son had promised you a 60th birthday.
Yes, promised me a lot of things.
So when you remember that 60 is just around the corner, how do you feel?
I feel terrible. I feel terrible. I must say, every day, when I wake up, I think about him. When I want to go to bed, I think about him. In the middle of night, I think about him. Every day, I just keep thinking that, is it real? Because I never saw the body. Is it real? Wow. Because I can't just believe. But it's the grace of God. God kept me today, up till now. And I think about all my other children, my other kids. So that's the only thing that gives me joy now.
How do you feel about God, towards God? How do you feel towards God?
Wow, he's incredible. He's omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent.
He can do as it is.
Yes. So at the end of the day, sometimes you want to ask, why me?
Why will never answer that
you
question.
Can't you? So why not me? Who deserves this? Nobody does. You don't even wish this on your worst enemy, for crying out loud.
Before we go,
you don't.
Mary, I know you have become a counselor. I know there are people there who haven't been able to overcome the grief. What will you say to them?
I would tell you, grief is different with different people. I learned not to tell people I know how you feel because I don't know how you feel. I never told Jane when I met her I know how she felt, no. Because every situation is different with everyone. And everyone is different. So you grieve differently. But you must believe that you can walk. I would let you know that, yeah, in this, you can live again. In this, you can smile again. Yes. But it all has to do with you making up your mind to say, I will go on. And sometimes when we grieve, when you think about this person you're grieving about, will this person you love so much and you know loved you this much, will this person really want me to be doing what I'm doing to myself? Because if, like, when I woke up, Sosoliso crashed Saturday, 10th of December 2005, my church is 7:30. There used to be 7:30. Yeah, I woke up in the morning, even my own husband said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to church. He looks at me and says, Mary, you're going to church? I said, yes, if Junior and Obioma were in this house, we would be going to church. And in my heart, I feel that Junior and Obioma are telling me, Mommy, your life needs to go on. This is what you love to do. So you know, we don't think about that aspect. So when you play it in that light, just what would this, my loved one I am so grieving about, want me to do? Just try that angle, and that's where I live. And most of the time, I can tell you, all the people I've met, 97% of the time, begin to live again. When you look at life, you know, life You know, we all have a different perspective, and your own is such a narrow perspective. When you try to look at it in a broader view, you now see that, oh my, I have not thought about it in this time. So that's what I want to tell you, someone out there, that try this loved one or these loved ones, try to look at what they would wish for you. They would wish you to live again and to be happy, to be joyous. And
You know, I describe a good smile, a good laugh, a good smile as the joy radiating in your heart, and then glitters in your eyes, and then you give expression to it on your lips. When you smile or when you laugh, do you just make it up, or it really comes from your heart? It comes from your heart.
Yes.
Does it come from
It
your
comes from my heart.
Does it come from your
Yeah, it
heart?
comes from
It
my
comes
heart.
from
I laugh at everything and anything.
Yeah, when you get me angry, I forgive you because there's nothing in this life.
Yes,
You
there's
know?
nothing there.
Nothing.
Jane,
Yes.
thank you.
God bless
so
you.
much.
God bless you. You know, I drew inspiration from you. You wouldn't know yesterday in your house. You're too much.
Thank
I hope you have time for me
I
again.
will, of course, anytime. Thank you so much for coming, and I'm sorry you had to relieve that pain.
It's
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
It's okay.
Mary, you're my friend, you understand. Cuckoo, you're my sister, so you understand. I'm sorry I made you guys relieve the pain, but thank you for coming to share this, because I know you're certainly an inspiration to somebody there, out there who is grieving and doesn't know how to end the grief. Thank you so much. T.D. Jakes says, the best people to help others are not those who studied life in a book. It is those who lived it out on the stage of reality. And you will never be healed until you use your pain to heal others. Today, these ones are talking from their experience, and they can talk to people out there who are grieving, who don't know how to end the grief. Today, Mary is a counselor. And for those of you who have turned against God, you still need to hold that God, because it's only God who can comfort you. Until I come your way another time, this is my factor. Goodbye. God bless. And see you again next week.